Hi, good day, everyone. So this is a follow-up from the last class. Our last class was on Sunday, last Sunday. It's just to guide us on how to, you know, to bring us up to speed to where we are currently. Tomorrow is another day for us, 4 p.m. Nigerian time. I also understand that a lot of us are from different time zones. And so you need to check what your local time is, 4 p.m. Nigerian time. I know that for people in Canada, 4 p.m. is 11 a.m. for them. I think some parts of the US is 11, some parts 12. Different timing. So just please, understanding our audience, our students from different time zones, we encourage you to check the time so that you don't miss the class. This class is PostgreSQL. PostgreSQL. Most people can call it Postgres, all right? We only call it Postgres. It's a dialect, like we said in class, it's a dialect of SQL language. SQL means structured query language. And from the example we gave in class the other day, we said that, for instance, English language. An American has a dialect, the way they sound when they speak English. Someone from the UK, they speak differently. Someone from different countries, different languages, there are different dialects in different languages, basically. So for SQL, which is structured query language, and just like I told you guys, that SQL is the only language a relational database understands, right? There are different dialects in SQL. We have the Oracle SQL, we have the Microsoft SQL, we have the Postgres, like we're doing right now. We have different dialects basically, and our focus right now is on Postgres. And the reason why we focus on Postgres is because it's just like Python is trending now. Postgres is a dialect that's trending in IT when it comes to tech, right? Postgres, it's easy to use, it's open source, and there are so many benefits that we can get from Postgres, and that's why we chose to use to learn this dialect. It does not mean that every other dialect, like the Oracle SQL and Microsoft SQL, it doesn't mean that they're not valid or important. They're as important as Postgres, right? However, the dialect we're focusing on today is PostgreSQL, right? Now, from what we discussed last week, like I said, this is just like a, a, a recap, okay? A recap of what we did last week to enable us go through it in preparation of tomorrow. Now, so many of us, I believe, last week were able to install our software, our Postgres software, while I know that a lot of us joined after the first class, right? So this is an opportunity for you to also install this software and, get ready for the class, literally, because we will not be able to go back to the installation section of this class. We will not be able to do that again, and we will not want you to drag us back. And again, we will not want to leave you behind. So please, I would encourage each and every one of you, if you have not installed your Postgres software at least, please do so, and we'll be able to, get our desired goals, right? Some of us, our goals are to have the knowledge, while the others, some other people have different goals. Some want to use it to get jobs. Some want to use it to know that, yes, I've done this and I have these skills, right? Either way, whatever your goal is, please take this class seriously and, follow up. And like I always tell you guys, always ask questions. Ask questions at all times. All right? Good. Considering the number of students we have in class, we may have to break it down into different cohorts, right? We may have to break it down into different cohorts, but that would be decided after the class tomorrow. Tomorrow is 14th of September, 2025. So by tomorrow, 4 p.m. after the class, we may have to decide if we need to break the class into different cohorts, okay? So based on what we have here, we discussed, in detail, well, we had an overview of what Postgres, was all about. But mostly what we did in class the last Sunday, was to install the software. So I'm just going to see if I can guide you guys on how to install this software, then brush up what we did last week to help us bring us up to speed, especially for those who weren't in class. Okay, that's why we're doing this video. Now, first thing you need to do is you need to go to this URL, this path, postgres.org/download/Windows. Windows is Windows with the S, right? /Windows/. Then click enter. Once you click enter, it brings you to the interface you're looking at. Let me click enter again. It brings you to this particular page you're looking at. That is Windows installer. I understand that most of you also you're using MacBook. I'm currently using a Windows, and I know that most of you will be using Mac for this. Again, before I forget, one of the important okay, let's talk about that while we proceed. But for now, you click on this Windows. Some of you using Mac, I think we can have something. Let me take off this Windows and see what we have in the downloads. Great. So this is where I want you to have. So you click on this postgresql.org/download, right? When you get to the download, you click on, depending on what you're using. If you're using Solaris, BSD, Linux, Mac, and whatever your operating system is, the benefit of Postgres, while people rush into using Postgres, and most companies are currently, adopting or moving to Postgres right now because it's the easiest and it has a lot of benefits. Like you can see here, it works for all this operating system, unlike the other ones. All right, unlike the other ones, some of them don't work. Some of these databases don't work with different operating systems, right? So in this case, if you're using a MacBook or a Mac operating system, you click on Mac. I don't think most of you will be using Linux. This is for the, I guess, DBAs and all that right now, but I think this is the most popular. But if you use Linux, you can click here and you're able to install in Linux. And if you're using a Mac, you can click here and install, the Mac compatible software. Now I'm clicking on Windows. I click on Windows. When you click on Windows, you can see that the latest version is 17, right? 17. Now, what you need to do is come up here, click on download installer, right? It brings you to this interface, okay? Regardless of what you have, if it's a MacBook, if it's a Windows, it will always bring you here, right? Now, when it brings you here, look at the latest version, 17.6, right? 17.6 is the latest version, and when you click on, so you just come to the operating system, check which of them you have, and click on either of them. So for instance, I'm using a Windows. You can see that this is Windows 64-bit. This is Windows 32-bit. It's no longer supported, so it's gone, it's out, all right? So Windows 64-bit is what I'm using. So I come here, I click on this one. I already have Postgres installed on my system. However, I'm just trying to show you guys what you can do to install yours, all right? So if you look at this, my download icon here is downloading. You can see that it's moving. So when you click on that, you don't need to click on anything else. You don't need to sign into anything. Just let it complete the process of downloading. And then you can now commence the installation. It shouldn't take time. I think mine is quite fast. And I guess it has some level of dependency on your network, right? So be patient. And that is why it's important for you to do this today against the class tomorrow. That is if you want to be in this class. Because we will not come back to fixing issues around installations. And it's also important when you are being taught, you can easily practice. It doesn't make sense that after, learning, this is not an English class, it's a practical class, right? So it requires that when you are being taught, you can quickly just try it out on your own and see the reactions. In fact, before you even ask some questions, if you are someone like me who is very curious, you can always try it out first to see if it works. And then if it doesn't work, you can then ask some questions, right? So please, it's important that we do this today. So my download is completed, I believe. It should show me some notification. Let's see. Good, you can see it's up. So I can come here, click here. Let me just refresh. So the latest one, good. Now I double click on it. You can right click, but I just double clicked on it. So when you double click on it, let me see what happens. It should call up, okay. Okay, so it just brought something up. Let me show you. This is what it brought up. So all I need to do is to click yes, okay. Okay, let's see what's happening. It's taking some time. This is how mine looks. You can see. This is my Postgres, how it looks, right? I have my database here, so I have this one. I think I have some tables here. Let me see. This is just me, eating up time to wait for that guy to come up. Let's see if he's up. Okay, I think he's back up. Let's see. Okay, so the guy is up. Now it says, welcome to Postgres setup. So let's click on next. Now, this is our server, right? This is the PG admin for the front end. Okay, this is for the front end. That is what you saw here, this PG admin, this is it, right? Now, this one is for, this is for like plugins. It's not mandatory, but you just leave it there, right? And then you have the command line for those of us who want to use the PSQL command, right? If you like to type in black screen and all that. Okay, so you click on next. They said, and it says what? An existing data, blah, blah, blah. This means that what it's trying to say is that I already have this installed on my system, rather in my system. But you guys can actually, if you have not installed it, what you're going to see will be different. More like, for you to prompting you to install, right? So just keep going, clicking next, 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 next. And then setup is now ready to be installed in your system. Let me click on next. I hope this doesn't scatter my. Please ensure that PG admin shut down. Okay, let's do this. I hope this doesn't scatter my database. It might. But let me risk it for you guys. So you can see some of them will come up with directory already exists. I guess what may happen in my situation would be upgrade. We'll just update it to the probably the if there's a newer version, it will just update it to the newer version. That's what I feel. So we'll give it some time to install. But while it's taking its time doing its stuff, let's look at our slide again and see. While that is happening, let me quickly open the course outline and show us what we are going to be studying in this class. This is our course outline. Now for this class, we have it's in 3 different sessions, right? We have the beginner, we have the intermediate, and we have the expert. The reason why I'm going to share this thing with you guys in the group, and the reason why I'm going to share it is not just for you to have it for having sake, but for you to be able to also make, make guided reviews and readings and probably guided study. That's what I'm looking for, right? You can always go on your own, search the internet. This is an open source. The materials are all over the internet, okay? So that what we'll do in class will just be to study together, learn together, and answer some questions that you couldn't solve yourself as a beginner. So this course is designed to take us from the beginner level to the intermediate level to the expert level. Now, the beginner level, not much is expected of you. Not much is expected of you, but I mean, that's the foundation. I mean, without the beginner level, you can't even do anything about this course or any course at all. So the beginner level is the foundation where you understand the basis of what you're doing. After the intermediate level, I expect some of you to have started applying for some jobs, remote jobs. I mean, for those of you who are really, really interested in you learning this for the purpose of getting a job, after the intermediate class, some of you would have started applying for at least some beginner, junior roles in PostgreSQL. We'll also help in sharing links on this group, links from job links, so that once the links come, we can share with you guys to also try. Again, we're going to help set up your GitHub account if you don't have. We're also going to help in a way to, fix or arrange your CVs, to meet this standard of what the industry requires, okay? So those are the packages that we're also going to be benefiting in this class. So for the first one is the beginner. The beginner would, I think that's from section, the total thing is up to 30 sessions, I think. Yeah, sessions. The first 10 is the beginner part. The very first 10 is the beginner part. And after the session 10, we would have our projects. I think that's session 10. We'll have a project because each time we get past a level, we'll have to be tested for that level. And if you don't pass that level, you have to repeat this class. That's a simple thing. You're not going to move to the next level. If you don't pass this project, you are not going to, because we'll have a series of mock tests that we're going to be writing. If you don't pass any of the levels, we will not move you to the next class because we are going for perfection or near perfection, all right? Then after the project is done, we'll move to the session 11, where we start from the intermediate. After this intermediate class, like I said earlier, it's safe for you to start applying for junior roles and remote jobs with this level, okay? You can see that this is very rich. It's a very rich outline, okay? Then the 20th one is the intermediate project, where you can do your project and write now the project here is e-commerce database, building an e-commerce database. And when you pass that, you move to the advanced level, which starts from 21 to 30. And after the 30th one, we'll write the real life project, real world system for hospital, finances, social media, the project, right? We're going to do all of this, and this is the final project. Then after this course, this is not mandatory, but I'd suggest that we'll sign up. I'll share a link, the official website for Postgres, where you guys can go and register for the certification. This certification helps you to prove that, yes, you actually did this. But instead of waiting for you to, after studying and waiting for another 1 year, another 6 months, another 4 months to write the exam, it's better, in my opinion, for you to just quickly write it and get the certification, right? I think I may have to set up your GitHub tomorrow, or we can do that in a later class, or I'll just do a video where you can do the setup. In fact, I'll do a video where you can do the setup of a GitHub. It's also good so that when you are looking for a job, you can always share your GitHub link with the employers so that they can check what you have done. Okay? GitHub is like a repository where you store and manage your codes, your files, in a way that if there's an update, let's say you do something and you want to change it, there's a way GitHub rather tracks the update and changes that you've made. So it's very important that we have the GitHub, and it's also important that we all have our LinkedIn account properly set up. So please and please and please, if you don't have these things done, I'm going to do another video that's after tomorrow's class. I'll do a video how you can do your GitHub setup and how we can do our LinkedIn profile and make it rich and attractive to these employers. Okay. I don't want this video to be more than 30 minutes. So I'm just going to round up this review. Let's see if our guy is back. Oh, he's still running. This takes a little while, but let's see. Another thing I can do is tonight, this is 3:18 p.m. Nigerian time. In the next 4 hours, I'll be available. Just reach out to me on the group. I can set up a brief class, right? Strictly for setting up your Postgres software in case you have issues with it, okay? I can have a brief class with you in the next 4 hours. I don't want to say 7 p.m. because I know that most people, depending on your time zone, right? Right now it's 3:19 p.m. in Nigeria. So from your time right now, add extra 4 hours. The next 4 hours, I'll be available to set up a meeting for us to install the softwares. And if you have issues with the software installation, we can always trash it out. Okay? I will also share this outline on the group for you to review it before we have our class. Tomorrow we're going to start with databases. We have done the first one, introduction of what a database is. And we said that a database is right? When you hear the word database, it's a system where you store data, right? The system where you store data. Everything you are doing on Earth right now, as long as technology is concerned, is stored somewhere, somehow, somewhere. Even the things that you say, you know what, I'm deleting this thing today. I don't want this picture anymore. I want to delete it. It doesn't disappear. It's not a ghost. It just goes up from your phone and is stored somewhere, right? So a database is, in my own word, it's just a system that helps you store and manage your data. Okay? Now, like I said to you guys, we're focusing on Postgres, dialect, PostgreSQL. And we say here that PostgreSQL, often called Postgres, is a powerful open source object relational database, right? By relational database, you know that what we're talking about is a database that is in form of rows and columns. Just imagine looking at an Excel file. You see how Excel files has rows and columns, right? Where you can say, okay, my first row is going to be for my name or for my number. The other one will be for my email. Just like that. That is how a relational database looks like. It's not an Excel file, but it goes in the form of rows and columns. Okay? Then it is known for stability, reliability, and advanced features, right? It was first released in 1986 at the University of California, supported and improved over the years. And why do you want to learn Postgres? Why do you really want to learn Postgres, right? Because it's free, open source, no license cost. Some of these other ones, you need to have some level, you need to have some license before you can use it. Some of the dialects like Oracle, you need to have license, especially when you're using it commercially. But this one, you can use it both for commercial and for, private, and at no cost. Just like I was saying earlier, it's cross-platform. It runs on all, not all per se, but it runs on most of the popular operating systems. You can see it runs on Windows, it runs on Macs, it runs on Linux. Some of these other ones, like again, the Oracle SQL, don't run on all these platforms, right? It's selective. And if you must run it, you have to now install a virtual machine or something to be able to use it and successfully run it. So that is that. It's highly reliable. It has rich features and it's scalable. It can handle small projects and enterprise level application, just like we have said. In the real world, you can use Postgres in web applications. You can use it in data analytics. You can use it in mobile apps. You can use it in research, when you're doing your research work. And financial system like the fintech and banking, payments, and transaction systems like that. These are many places. These are just a few that we listed out of a lot. This is few out of many that you can use Postgres for. I think I'm looking at my time. I have 2 minutes to close this video. So why do you want to be in this class? You can look at this and you can pause it, read this. This is very important. It will help you to build your confidence. It will help you to build your practice. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's any tech-related, I don't believe that there's any tech-related program that you want to take, language that you want to write, if you don't have the knowledge of SQL, because all your programs would have to either insert or fetch from a database. You must store the data you're going to collect in a database, and you must fetch something. So either way, you're going to be relating with a database, right? So you need to learn this first. When people come to me and ask me, what language should we learn first if we're going into tech? I tell them, gone are the days of HTML, gone are the days of CSS. They're still valid till today. However, if you want to start programming, I believe, or I tell you to start from SQL, okay? You now decide on the dialect you want to use. But if I'm to recommend a dialect, I'll recommend Postgres because it's easy to use and easy to learn and fast growing, just like Python, right? Great. Now, the other thing we need to do here is, by the end of this class, we did that last week. We installed, did our installation. We Okay, we haven't created our database, so we're going to start from here in the next class, right? Create our database, write our queries, and do the insert, update, delete, fetch data, right? And then that's it. So basically, we have gotten to where we were last week. You haven't lost a lot, and like I said, in the next 4 hours, please, you can reach out to me on the group chat. And for those of you who are interested, or if you have issues with installing your software, please indicate so that I can know how many people are available for that. I can set up a mini session where we can, trash out the issues in preparation for tomorrow so that we can, dive into what matters in Postgres. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I appreciate you all. Bless.